Elaine and Takaho Library team, thank you so very much for allowing me to be here tonight for another program for the Takaho Public Library. It's a pleasure. I'm honored to be here sharing another class. And today is our class number 7. Like you said, it's sad because our program that it has been going on for a while now, it's a total of 8 classes. It's coming to a closure next class, which is going to be our class number 8. And we call it the grand finale. We're going to review everything that we went through, and we're going to talk about the highlights of every single step of the way to be here today. Last month, unfortunately, I was unable to teach our classes here, but today we are back. That's why you see this January 4th here as a stamp on top of our class. Welcome to our class number 7, right? And today, the theme of our class is interior design. And interior design will be how beautiful places are made, the principles of creating harmony in interior design. So are you ready to jump on this? It's going to be fun. So when we think about interior design, the first question that we have in mind is, what is interior design? Interior design is a profession that focuses on architecture and space planning, creating cohesive and aesthetically pleasing designs for home interiors, but also for business. Professional interior designers, they require focused schooling and formal training. Yes, it's not just about finding what's beautiful, making the space just amazingly pleasant. No, there is technique behind everything we see. That's why he's saying formal training. And interior design is all about how we experience the spaces. It is indeed a powerful, essential part of our daily lives. And indeed, it does affect how we live, how we work, how we play, and even how we heal. Think about when you go to hospitals, for example, when you go to your dentist's office, all of that around you is about interior design. Yes, it is. So comfortable homes, functional workplaces, beautiful public spaces, comfortable hospitals, elegant nursing homes, a chic elevator, that's interior design at work. Well, when we talk about interior design, we're talking about things from color schemes to area rugs. The world of interior design can start to feel overwhelming if you try to dive in all at once. And that's why we're going to break it down in this class today. Luckily, there are a few principles of interior design. There are a great place to get you started, whether you're working with a client or you want to give your own home a makeover yourself. Let's do it. So the introduction today is going to be talking about the basics of interior design with 3 design principles. And before we get into there, I always suggest to the participants to have plain paper, at least 8.5 by 11, a notebook with graph paper so you can sketch over and start giving it some sort of scale. Flare felt tip, black pen, eraser, mechanical pencil, highlighters, camera for photo, it can be your phone, curious mind. And please keep writing down your possible comments or questions because we're gonna allow some time at the end of the class to go through it all. Thank you again for being here. Well, let's talk about the basics of interior design, okay? The 3 principles. When getting started with your design, there are a few interior design basics to keep in mind. Let's start with number 1, style. Well, selecting an interior design style is pretty much the beginning. That will help you keep your space cohesive and focused, and that's what we spoke about right in the beginning. There are plenty of decorating styles to choose from, like shabby chic, Tuscan mid-century, modern, industrial, Scandinavian, or farmhouse, you name it, Rococo, Art Nouveau, and many of them come with their own unique design elements. What are design elements? Color schemes or color palettes, window treatments, floor plans, and even styles of wall art. Yes, we're going to go through it all. Acquaint yourself with several different styles, including what design trends are popular right now, to get a taste for what styles and decorate ideas you do like. Okay, so basic interior design principle number 2, focal point. Each room should have a focal point, an interesting or beautiful piece, such as a piece of art, a fireplace, or a nice couch, that draws viewers' attention. So that's your view going straight to that point. Give yourself an example by looking at this picture on the right-hand side. You could say the focal point of this living room is not necessarily only one, but you have the frame on the wall, right? The artwork, and you have those beautiful light fixtures hanging from the ceiling. Take care not to go overboard here. If you have too many focal points in a living space, it will start to feel overpowering and unfocused. That's why focus is so important. Balance. To achieve balance in every room, you will need to distribute the visual weight of your furniture and accents. That's why balance is our basic principle number 3. So we went through style, we went through focal point, and now we're talking about balance. Consider scale, larger and small items. Texture, meaning hard and soft items. And position, meaning eye level, and low placement. And left and right placement. If you pay attention to subtle contrast in single space, you'll be able to create rooms that feel complete and balanced. This, again, on the right is a perfect example. You have a great balance of things being placed on a horizontal level, eye level, and high level. And also, you did not overpower that with your selection of textures. So you have things that are soft, there's things that are hard. So you see the transition, for example, from a soft floor to a hardwood floor. Same thing with the textures in the sofa. And let's give more example. Now, when we talk about style, let's go back to style. So style, what would you choose from? What style do I like? What style will look good in a space? What style will I feel comfortable with? Well, whether you are decorating a single room or a whole house, a bungalow or a mansion, the style will change dependent on the existing space and what is appropriate for it. This is a board where you see a few different styles, from the modern interiors, the Art Deco interiors, the contemporary interiors, minimalist, rococo. Then you have the retro interiors, urban interiors, Georgian interiors, and yes, Victorian interiors. Let's give an example of style, modern style interior design. The creation of the modern interior design style is credited to a group of European designers that started the Bauhaus School of Design in Germany, and that goes back in 1919. The Bauhaus philosophy is that form and function should combine in all designs. Modern design is clean-lined and focuses first and foremost on function and avoids the excessive accessories and decorative elements seen in many other styles like the Romantic, Renaissance, and all of those. Some people feel the modern design is way too simple, harsh, and cold. However, when well planned, it's believed that it can promote a sense of calmness and simplicity to the home or to the spaces, right? So they try to minimize all of the extras that the older architecture styles, design styles had in mind. The modern style is ideal for apartments and small spaces as it maximizes space and creates the impression that a room is even larger than it actually is. Minimal textures and bold geometry forms, neutral colors accented with a single bold color along with polished finishes and a symmetrical balance. They are key identifying features of modern style interiors. And just so to recap, what are the main 5 factors that will create a modern style in interior design? Number 1, clean lined design. Number 2, function before form. That's what we spoke about, right? That goes back in 1919 ideal scenario. Number 3, it avoids excessive accessories and decorations. Number 4, minimal use of textures. As you can see here on the left-hand side, it's very minimal. And asymmetrical balance in furniture and layout. Now let's go to number 2, classical style interior design. Well, classical interior design is based on order, symmetry is now going to the opposite of our modern, right? And balance, which relates to the ideals of the Greek and Roman empires. Can you believe it? Yes, that's where it goes back to. A primary element in classical style is the use of a focal point around which visual balance is achieved. For example, so we can understand that perfectly, a feature fireplace flanked on either side by matching armchairs with an ornate mirror above, it's a perfect example of a classical design. And you can see that on the right-hand side, you have mirror above the fireplace right here, the two nice details and the symmetry, just bringing that up to speed. Let's go here. A variety of yellows. Oh, let's go back. The color palette common to classical interior design style is often inspired by nature, which means a variety of yellows, blues, greens, browns, as well as softer, muted hues like terracottas, grays, and pinks are commonly used. When accenting with whites, choose bright white. If you want a slightly more contemporary feel instead, just go for something very bright. You see the difference between the upper and the lower photos. Fabric used in classical interior design style tend to be elegant without being overly ornated or attention-grabbing. Cotton, canvas, and velvet are some commonly used in classic interiors. Natural flooring of wood, stone, or marble works best in the classically styled environment as they relate well to the natural color schemes used. The key identifying feature of the classic style is symmetry, with each side of the room mirrored on either side of a central focal point. Columns are also a feature of classic design, relating back to Greek and Roman architecture, and as such, vertical tone-on-tone stripes on the walls and curtains can represent all of this. And the use of classical ornamentation can also be used to identify a room as being of the classical style. And this here, right in the middle of our bottom side here, it identifies one typical creation of a finished board for a classic project. And it's a lot of information. Please feel free to take a photo of this slide because the idea is when you leave this class is to look at the environments around you and just recognize, wow, this is the class I had that we're talking about classic style. So that's where we're looking at symmetry, a specific color palette. We're talking about the balance between the too ornated, not too ornated. And to do that, I want to recap like we did with the modern style, at least 4 of the main characteristics of the classic interior design style. So number 1, order, symmetry, and balance. Those are key elements. Number 2, room order around the focal point, such as the fireplace. Natural colors and materials, that's our number 3. And to wrap up this style, number 4, elegant fabrics. And that's why I added here a photo of a typical finished board in an interior design, classic design style. Let's go to something fun now. How about retro style interior design? This is picking up, especially in a lot of retail design these days. It's all coming back. That's what we usually say. Every few decades, old designs seem to make a comeback, but with a modern twist. This is referred to as the retro style and is an eclectic mix of old styles and new forms, or new forms with old materials and finishes. The post-war 50s and psychedelic 60s saw a move towards brighter and bolder colors, most likely as a backlash, to doom and gloom of the war-torn 40s. Nowadays, retro interior designs can be described as taking a little bit of these features and bringing them back into the present in order to create a new style of interior design that is both modern and fun. And you can witness that by looking at those pictures on the right-hand side. As there is so much to choose from past styles, what you decide to include will ultimately be your own interpretation of the past and will therefore be entirely unique and individual. During each of the past few decades, there have been different materials, shapes, colors, artifacts, and gadgets that have left a lasting impression on all of us, some of which may be significant in the memories from our childhood, may therefore be more suited for your personal retro style. Nowadays, anything from the 50s, 60s, or even the 70s is fashionable again. However, because there are so many different ways to go about incorporating a retro interior style into your home, it can be difficult to recognize it when you see it. The key, and pay attention to that, I'm going to rephrase it, the key identifying feature can therefore only be described as an old style with a modern twist. So if we don't remember anything about retro style, remember this statement. The key identifying feature can therefore be described as an old style with a modern twist. To recap, like we're doing with the other styles, retro style is a reimagined existing design, an eclectic mix of materials, and a classic objects used, of course, you have that too, and can be difficult to recognize. So now that we learned a little bit of the styles, how do we present that to a client, or how do we connect to our own wishes for our own places? Well, the first step would be not only identifying your space, but creating a presentation board, or what we call presentation board content. The step that we're talking about outlines and explains interior design presentation boards layout tips and techniques and how to create eye-catching presentation boards, also known as concept boards. Presentation boards are used by interior designers, but also by architects, graphic designers, game designers, and concept artists in order to present their ideas, drawings, and designs to their clients, to their co-workers, to their bosses, and not only all of that, if you're doing that for yourself, to present it for your family. So let's look at the key points to consider when planning your presentation board. Conceptually speaking, everybody, there is no reason to make a beautiful presentation board of bad content. Content is key. A presentation is an opportunity to show your commitment to finish through the level of precision with which you present your ideas. In other words, you're trying to really make your project look good right from the beginning. It is usually effective to help a viewer to get quickly oriented to the presentation by providing a large summary image, such as a central image of the main characters, like in movie posters, or a rendering of some kind of overview perspective, like in architectural presentation boards. This should be positioned at the first point of visual focus, which should be about the same as the beginning of the reading order. In most situations, as interior designer, you will be required to present numerous presentation boards detailing a variety of aspects of design proposal. For example, a designer may present mood boards. Have you heard about mood boards before? Those are fun. I invite you to Google mood boards in design. We won't have a chance here because it's only 1 hour class and we have a lot to cover under interior design to give you an overall. But please Google that. You're going to have fun. Material boards, color scheme boards, technical specifications, 3D drawings or computer renderings, etc. And by the way, if you have a chance, stop by the Tuckahoe Public Library to see the boards we have with the illustrations. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yes, indeed. They are about to go under a huge renovation with lots to see and lots to talk about. You're welcome to take a look at their boards. So going back to our topic, presentation boards, it is of vital importance that despite containing different content, that these boards are still consistent in their appearance. So too, it's obvious. Remember, it must be obvious. They are part of the same project. This consistency can be achieved using some of all the following tips. Presentation boards should all be the same size and orientation, landscape, portrait. So, in other words, if you're creating 3 presentation boards for your project, they should always be either horizontal or vertical. Don't change orientation around. Common color scheme. So if you're creating, like you see this one on the left-hand side, and you have a blue as a background of your top information, keep that consistent. Same font size, same color, same style for titles and labels, same layout, grid, pattern or content, consistent style and size of images, common logo insignia on each board. That's very basic. So going back to our presentation board, these are other examples of organization. You see here on the left, there is a grid layout in presentation board. So there is a consistency. You don't necessarily need to see all of these lines, but ideally you would be able to follow some sort of grid in visual grid. So it's called plan out the grid layout for your presentation board. Okay, so now let's see. We have here on the right-hand side a beautiful board for a kitchen. You see how it follows a grid? It has a title. This is pretty much a sample presentation board using a grid layout. Now, clear, simple alignment of compositional elements is usually a good thing. You should contradict this only for very good reasons. Let's talk about, for example, complex content on data is often represented in tables in order to simplify it. Tables are simply horizontal and vertical alignments of data. In the same way, your content can be simplified and enhanced in clear vertical or horizontal presentation. Look at this one on the left-hand side. Okay, you're reading it from left to right, and then you have to choose. Either is fine, but you just have to choose which way your public is going to be reading that. So let's talk now about a few other elements of design. And now we're going to we spoke about the principles of design. Now we're going to talk about elements of design. Number 1, space. Number 2, line. Number 3, shape. Number 4, texture. Number 5, color. What are we talking about when we talk about space? Space is the area between the objects in the room. So in the right-hand side, you're seeing a bedroom and you're seeing a lounge area in your home. Space is everything that is not occupied by an object or a furniture, and you got to optimize that, right? What is line? Line, the outline of an object. 2 points are connected, and they give direction and divide space. Types of lines we see in space: horizontal, vertical, diagonal, or curved. In these photos right here, you can see that we have curved lines connecting the space. In this case, it's this staircase, and you have another one here in our image. Lines, when we say vertical lines, they have a meaning. The meaning in vertical lines is the feeling of power, dignity, and most of the time masculinity and height. So you see how we appropriated ourselves from this two lines and made it all look very vertical. Now, horizontal lines, check this out. We are designing with this element that it's making everything look more horizontal. We have diagonal lines that cut the space. Look at that, such as in the ceiling or just a straight stair cutting the whole entire room, almost becoming activity and motion. That's the meaning of it. Curved lines, believe it or not, it's a way to soften the objects around the room. Look at this wallpaper in the back, how much its visual attractiveness is creating. Now let's talk about shape, also called form. The solid form of structure will change your entire room, and that can be achieved especially by the furniture that you're going to choose. Now let's talk about texture. Texture is key in a room. Texture is the way, it sounds very interesting, right? When we say texture, but what do I mean by texture? Texture is the way an object feels and looks. It may be rough, it may be smooth, it may be hard, it may be soft, and etc. It can be formal, like in a smooth texture. It can be informal, like in a rough texture. Check out these two pictures. They're perfect example on how texture can change your perception of a room. Right here above, you have a lot of smooth and shiny textures, both from the surface of this table and the selection of this protection for the table and all of these elements shiny. And then you come here and you have a rough material right here for the protection under the plate, and then you have less shiny material on the table. That's making it look very informal. That's because of the textures. Now color creates a huge impact in interior design, and I would risk to say it's one of the most important tools to achieve the style you want to create. And it does influence how people feel and the mood of the room. And that is shown especially in the beginning of the process through your mood board. You see here how all of these colors, you might be looking at it and loving or hating, but that's what color does. It connects you to what you feel about the room. Now, what is interior design and why it's so important? Interior design is a process, as we said, that provides its customers with a set of aesthetically pleasing but efficient solutions for a better use of the space in question. Indeed, interior design is also the art and science of enhancing the interior of a building to achieve a healthier and more aesthetically pleasing environment for the people using this space. So now this is good theory. Let's look at what can be achieved through all of that. Yes, let's. Before and afters. Who doesn't like before and afters? I do. Do you like before and afters as well? Well, let's look at this one. We have an outside interior design example. And although it's interior design, it's used for exterior sometimes. So let's look at this before here. When we talk about before and after, we usually just get attracted by the look. Wow, so much better. The way we look at this professionally is by looking at this space from the details that you have on the floor, walls, and then all the way to the top. Let's start with this. You see, the professional working on this project chose to change, number one, the floor. See how the light floor wasn't helping this space? You were seeing all the dirt. It was being collected. You had a drain right here. The professional chose to eliminate the drain. It chose a different type of style. So you see here, we even had an angle to collect the rainwater. But why was this rain eliminated? Because you see the functionality of it changed. It was an exposed exterior space, and now it became a not exposed. You have a roof and you have an enclosure here. Although it's glass, it's enclosed. So you probably don't need it to drain the storm water that was coming from the rain. So now it's an enclosed space, so you don't have the angle anymore. You have still a step down from the interior. Now you're starting to choose all the materials that don't need to survive the exterior. So you still see a little bit of brick here on the wall, but this is all interior finish with a nice, beautiful wall tile. Then you also put in some functionality of it. You see now you have a sink and you have other finishes. You saw also that they made this bigger by creating an access door. It was only one single door. Now you have these French doors. And you have nice lighting coming here. Natural lighting and only one artificial lighting. So it's a combination of elements. Remember the three basic principles. We had style as number one, focus point. We have all of those elements combined when we see before and after. Another good example of an exterior situation where we had before and after without the enclosure. But still, you see, we changed the type of patio floor. We eliminated part of the grass area. We just changed it. All of this finish for the fence and simple things were done. Like these are accessories without being overpopulating, but you bring focal points. And then you create your own space by the way you want to achieve your good looking space. So this is that same space, but in a different view. You can probably recognize the beautiful floor being redone. You create some steps to access this back area. You see how nice it looks? This is all part of interior design techniques. But you have to remember, it's a nice training situation. Look at this other before and after. This is now going to a bathroom. Bathrooms can be interesting because people look at bathrooms as just being aesthetically nice, but you gotta look into functionality. This one, for example, has an issue that I want to bring that up to you guys. Look at this. This floor not necessarily is using a anti-slip situation, so they added this area rug here, but you have to think about what kind of floor. If it's going to be slippery, this is a place that is going to get wet. So functionality is key. Now look at this. You had a situation where your sink was going all the way to the floor. Now, if it's not going all the way to the floor, you probably have to consider patching the floor. So if you were keeping the existing finish, you have to rethink that too, or how you're going to patch that. So again, talking about bathroom, you see here, this was an enclosed roof area that probably during renovation, they noticed that they could do an opening and just follow the angle of the roof and put what we call a skylight, correct? But by doing the skylight and eliminating this arch, you can see that they eliminated also the possibility to having a shower above this tub. So now they had to either create another space for the shower or use the other window, not the other window, the other wall. They also used part of the space behind the sheetrock to create a niche. So all of these elements are part of the interior design, choosing where to put light. You see here we have a wall sconce way up there. Is that going to be good for someone doing makeup or putting on contact lens? Those are elements that have to be part of functionality. It's not only about making it look beautiful. Another good example of a before and after is the first element when you walk into a space. Think about that deeply, please. You have to think about the transition of a floor. You see, this is not wood right here. Why is that? Most of the time, you're going to walk into this vestibule area with your shoes wet or full of mud or with things that need to be cleaned up. So ideally, you're going to put a more durable material. Again, think about the transition. We're going from floor up. So you thought about floor up and then you gave a different finish for your walls. You gave a different finish for the paint that you have on your door, probably more durable, new light fixtures, and new color for everything. Another bathroom example, which is really good for us to think about before and after, we're talking about functionality. Right now, another example where the shower head was eliminated and it became just one bathtub. It's beautiful, but does it serve the functionality you're looking for? You see here again the sink. This is beautiful, but now we're eliminating a vanity above the sink and we're eliminating the cabinet below the sink. Does it work for your project? It might look more beautiful, but can it fit everything that you have to fit? So those things have to be accounted for. And when we think about functionality, think about this beautiful closet right here. Before you had things hanging, but did you have place to put things folding? Probably not. So when you look at this, check the organization level and how you optimize in space. That is also part of what interior design does for you. Going back to exterior spaces, we looked at things that were a little bit bigger, but smaller space, especially townhouses in the city, in the big cities. They don't have a lot of space, but that doesn't mean it can be extraordinary. Check this out. A space that was probably left behind and not utilized to its full capacity gave a full new use for it. Now you have a place with some grass, you have a place where you can gather, you have a space where you can receive friends. So that's interior design is not only about beauty. And I'm focusing on that because that's a wrong assumption a lot of people have. Now let's go to this little nook in someone's house. Before, you had an interesting space with probably not so much charm. And we talk about functionality, but let's talk also about charm. Check this out. A nice area rug. So you probably now giving more opportunities for this space to absorb sound because this kind of texture, and again, we're talking about texture, does absorb sound and make this acoustically more pleasant. And one of the things that interior design intends to do is make spaces more pleasant. It's a pleasing environment for people using the space, correct? So look at the color. This used a wonderful technique in interior design. We want to make something very cozy. We add the same color to the walls and to the ceiling. So if you pay attention right here, right now, your bookshelves on the right, the walls, even the frame is painted in blue, and the crown molding and the ceiling, it's all blue. Yes, and once we talk about our classes, we always provide you with a bibliography. And let's talk about the bibliography suggested today. Today, I have this series of book called Interior Design by Simon Brake. These 3 books might bring you a wonderful opportunity to dig into the world of interior design. One of the books is called The Best Beginner's Guide for Newbies. It's a very interesting book. The other one is called Learn How to Make Life Easier. And that you probably say, wow, why didn't I read that before? It has great, straightforward language on how to apply things right away. And the other one is called Home Cleaning. It's again part of the same series. Learn how to make life easier as well. But the home cleaning will be probably showing your interior design that you have that you never heard about. Okay, these 2 are easy books. One is called Home Decorating for Dummies, and don't feel offended by that because it does have an incredible resource in each and every page. This is the 2nd edition, but it really doesn't matter. You can have any edition you have. Our Tuckahoe Library and the Westchester Library System, they have amazing resource on how we can get all of those books. So please use those resources. They are worth getting. And this one here is quite unique. Home decor cheat sheets. Now I'll give you a little bit of this home overview because it does have over 300 illustrations for do-yourself interior design. It's a very hands-on book by Jessica Probus, illustrated by Alice. And you're gonna love it. So the most important concepts of home design, decor, furnishing simplified into this 300 friendly, easy to understand graphics. You have what they call in cheat sheets. They show the do's and don'ts and the timeless design rules for a perfectly coordinated space, like they room or so open quote, this colorful, easy to understand illustrations teaching you everything needed to beautifully furnish, arrange, and decorate your home. So you can not only do for home, but for your business. In mere seconds, you will be able to grasp the vital concepts needed to give your house or your business an inspiring look, including how to properly match furniture styles, brighten the rooms with natural light, stylish arrange wall art, and perfectly fit the rug to the room. You're going to create dramatic lighting effects and elegance using throw pillows. So a lot of people, when you think about interior design, that's what you have in mind. We spoke about here today how functionality is important as well. So let's not forget about that. Interior design is a very vast subject. So please take a photo of these other 2 books. This one that I'm representing with the 3rd edition by John Gauthier. It's an interior designer's portable handbook. It's a first step rules of thumb for the design of interiors. It's a great book for those who are trying to start on that industry. And this one on the right is the Universal Principles of Interior Design. This has 100 ways to develop innovative ideas, enhance usability, and design effective solutions. Great books. And I'm trying to go as fast as possible with today's class because I'm sure we might have questions on how to decorate your own home. For websites, I would like you to please take a photo of these channels on YouTube or this specific websites. Some of them give you the opportunity to have full classes for a very low cost. It's incredible what you can learn. One of them, and it's the last one on our list, it says, learn how to work with interior design styles like a pro. And this Skillshare Query Interior Design, you will be able to have a full class. And that's what the 1, 2, 3 first three links are about. It's Online Designer Teacher. It's excellent. One is about presentation board, the other is about design room layout tips and interior design material finishes. So use those tools. You will not regretting if that's your focus. So let's come to a conclusion because we spoke about a lot of different things. I bet your brain is just now boiling with all of these ideas. So let's calm down and let's read our conclusion. Number 1, hiring a professional interior designer is one of the best options if you're working and have less time to devote to your new spaces. Okay? In this case, an interior designer is a better money-saving, time-saving, and stress-buster option. Okay? So if you don't have time, go for that. I'm not trying to sell anybody's idea here right now, but it is what it is. You need to save money. Otherwise, you're going to start spending your money on buying furniture or buying materials that you won't need and then returning. Go and hire someone who really knows what they're doing. Always remember, even though you hire someone, your home or your business is your own space. So if you want to change your countertops, you can put anything there that is aesthetically pleasing to you and your family. You evaluate your thoughts about color, what space is, how you want to light that area, and all the accessories you want to add, right down to things like your stereo or your television. You're going to definitely be looking forward to the suggestions from your professional. And again, the rules are there. The regulations are not so much interior design, right? And as long as it's up to code, but the rules to make something aesthetically pleasing are there. But it's at the end of the day, the conclusion is it's got to be good to the user. And if you're the user of your own home, go for what makes you happy. In the end, it's all about your appreciation of beauty and what you want to create in your area that makes you happy. In this manner, interior designers and good interior design help you achieve or meet your expectations efficiently. Think in layers, and we went through from floor to ceiling. But when we say layers, it's important. You're going to think about the floor, the wall, the finishes, the furniture, and how it all interacts. Then step it up. From once you finish with those layers, go to colors and lights. Your space will affect your mood. Trust me. Don't forget about that, because the way the space around you is going to tremendously affect on how you feel about yourself, how confident you are, and how you want to move forward with your own projects. All right, so today we covered the interior design. Just an overview on interior design. And next week, don't miss next week, please. Not next week, I mean next class is the week number 8. It's not January 4th. I got the wrong date. We're going to have the right date. I believe it's 21st. Elaine will probably be able to correct me at the end, and Lisa. But our class number 8 again is 60 minutes, and we're going to use all we've learned so far. I would like to thank everyone very much. As always, my special thank you go to the Tuckahoe Library team who go above and beyond, bring you all of these extra classes to make you happy throughout the year, and also to the Westchester County Board of Legislators. I always say, and I bring that phrase back, knowledge is a lifetime treasure.